This next storm system really ramps up and intensifies. In fact, we have an enhanced risk upgrade across portions of the Tulsa region, back into portions of Springfield later on this afternoon, into the Memphis region. That actually swings down into the overnight hours across portions of Huntsville, back into Nashville, even all the way far as north as Paducah is going to be in the most widespread of all three modes of severe storms. And the most concerning is this elevated hatched risk within this dotted shaded areas. That's where we could be seeing a strong possibility of a tornado of an EF2 type variety. The atmosphere is going to be rotating at the lower levels. So this area is in fact under a watch, under a mesoscale discussion right now, looking to be upgraded to a tornado watch, and really expecting things are going to be going downhill quickly as we get closer to sunset and especially into the overnight hours. But it all originates towards the Tulsa region and really starts to amplify back into here to southern portions of Missouri, into the Springfield region, south of St. Louis. That swings over into portions of Tennessee into the overnight hours. So yes, be on definitely high alert and have your weather radios handy. And we've got, such a big area, kind of rare to see some, for August the 9th standards, of this hatched risk for very large hail over covering a multi-states. So this area from Tulsa all the way to Huntsville back into Birmingham could have the possibility of looking at some of those 2-inch diameter or greater concern of very large hail, golf ball to tennis ball, even some baseball size. Can't be rolled out. It's a very high impact event. Plus, the severe winds are going to be coming out of this system. 65, 75. You're likely going to be seeing some 80-mile-per-hour wind gust within this region later on this afternoon into the evening time frame. But further to the south, it's all different, folks. You're under that dominating ridge of high pressure. You've got widespread heat advisories and excessive heat warnings. Dangerous red flag warnings with the vegetation so dry out here in West Texas. It can spark a wildfire very easily across these areas. So you've got 110 plus heat indices just to the south of a very active severe weather setup later on this afternoon into the evening time frame. And taking a look at the overall jet stream on the 500 millibar, this is about 17,000 feet up in the atmosphere. It's going to be screaming across around 60 knots. That's about 70 miles an hour, folks, across those same regions that are highlighted the most significant threat from southern portions of Missouri back into northern portions of Arkansas, into portions of Tennessee, as well as into portions of Kentucky. Those are the favorite areas of seeing the most severe thunderstorms and the areas that have the most probability of possibly seeing or tornadic spin up, because at the lower levels, about 5,000 feet, you've got them rotated about 42 knots, 50 miles an hour. So that is changing in directions, folks. So you're going to have upward lift and the air starts to rotate. And that's where you have the possibility of tornadic spin up tornadoes. So yeah, some of these cloud tops are going to be approaching over 60,000 feet later on this evening. So this is going to be a dangerous setup with all three modes of severe storms on the table. And the latest tornado parameters are hitting fairly significant. This is going to be a big severe threat, no question about it, originating across these regions where they do in fact have that 10% hatched risk. Like I mentioned, there is a mesoscale discussion on it right now, and it looks to be upgraded toward likely a tornado watch in the next couple of hours, and going to be a bumpy evening heading towards later on this afternoon into the evening time frame. So if we stop the clock and take a look at, say, around 8 o'clock, that's when it could be really pretty intense, right? So we've got some isolated bubblers starting to come to fruition right now, but once we get deeper towards the sunset, I do think things are really going to start going downhill quickly. So I feel like there's going to be some isolated supercells with some very large hail producers, and then transferring to an isolated spin up tornado, especially in the southern flank of these systems, and then transfer into a nasty squall line, more of a damaging wind threat into the evening overnight time frame. Because by the time we head into, like, say, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, yeah, look at that bowing feature that really comes out. So we could be looking at some significant winds across these regions, 10, 11, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning time frame. So definitely batten down the hatches across this region, secure all loose objects, because we look to have a fairly significant threat on the table later on today. So back into tomorrow, that same system continues to shift eastbound. Now that threat shifts over to portions of Georgia within the Atlanta region, back into portions of the Greensboro region, into Charlotte, extends all the way into Columbus, and heading over into Raleigh again. You saw a lot of severe storms just the other day in the Carolinas. You're going to get impacted even to, going into tomorrow on Thursday. So definitely be on the lookout for these storms on the Thursday, because we've got multiple threats, guys. So even as we go into Friday, there's the setup on the water vapor imagery. That same system that's impacting the Carolinas on Thursday is going to be safely moving out into the open waters, but then all eyes turn further north again. Another kind of an MCS type system is going to be originating across portions of Canada, and that dives east southeastward, really tries to get its act together once we hit the Friday time frame, and that could be the start of another multi-day severe storm setup across the upper Midwest. Because look at some of these Cape values as we get into Friday afternoon. We're hitting pretty high numbers, folks, 4,000 and 5,000. It's pretty significant. So there's going to be a lot of energy in the atmosphere, even with this severe setup as well. So we've got several rounds of severe storms that we really definitely have to be concerned about. Here's the setup for Friday, and this is obviously, I think, going to be another enhanced risk day, but for right now, 3 days out, this is kind of where the alignment's going to be. Originally from the Green Bay area back into Milwaukee, does extend through Des Moines, back into portions of Topeka, up through Kansas City, includes maybe possibly the Springfield region, and back into the Chicago region. So this whole area definitely going to be under the gun, likely going to be for all three modes of severe storms. That'll be on the day on Friday. And I think this even just intensifies as we go into the weekend and early next week. But further to the south, all about the heat, folks. This is some serious stuff that's really building across Texas. They're going to be breaking records by the weekend. Record-breaking temperatures are going to be unfolding with a powerful ridge of high pressure, likely some of the hottest temperatures so far this summer. They've been hot, folks, but they're probably going to even be hotter by the time we head into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of early next week. Some serious stuff, likely some heat they really haven't seen in a very long time, and really elevating, extending these triple-digit streaks across these regions. Going to be breaking numerous records, and likely going to be approaching, likely, number two all time, the hottest summer on record, likely in the Dallas-Fort Worth area by the time it's all over, because there's just no let up with this heat. I think it just continues to build and expand, and really all the way through the month of August. That's the way I see it. But by the middle of the month, you've got serious temperatures, 108, 110, 112 across these regions, possibly in the Wichita Falls region, 108, 109 in Dallas. Take your pick, folks. Just extended record heat going to be on the table. So definitely stay hydrated, as the heat is the real deal this year in Texas. It's just not going to go anywhere anytime soon. And further to the north, it's all about the severe storms. So yes, we've got that other setup that's going to be coming out of Canada, swinging across portions of the Dakotas, really starting to get its act together by the time we head into Sunday afternoon, folks. So Sunday afternoon could be the start, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, of another multi-day severe storm setup across these regions. So let's break down some of the details. Even 5 days out, folks, we've got a slight risk for severe storms, as powered by an El Nino, as it's actually taking another leg up. It's starting to intensify even further, and likely heading towards that strong El Nino that we sort of talked about. And you've got higher dew points, you've got higher sea surface temperature anomalies, you got a lot more fuel, higher dew points. So you got all the ingredients together combining for severe storms, and that's exactly what you're going to get As we headed into your Sunday time frame across the Omaha region, this is the same system that's coming out of southern Canada by then, across the Dakotas, hitting the peak heating of the afternoon, really highlighting and amplifying across these regions, across Des Moines, back into Kansas City, likely into Springfield. And it's all complements of this another powerful low pressure. When we look at the spin, look at the vorticity coming out of that system, really ramps up, really amplifies by the time we head into Monday timeframe, August the 14th, while you're dealing with just the record extended dry spell, begging for a drop of rain. It's all about the severe storms further north across the Midwest. And you're really going to be under the gun with, again, all three modes of severe storms, very high wind impact threat with these systems. Likely going to be tornadic spin up tornadoes with some big time hail across Chicago, across the Indianapolis region, likely extended into the Ohio region. That'll be on the day on Monday. And then it just really amplifies as we go into Tuesday. Really starts to, again, this is going to be a slow moving system. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday across likely Kentucky, West Virginia, likely getting into Pennsylvania, even Buffalo, New York might get into the action with severe storms by then. And that just extends into the Northeast, folks. So yes, we've got heat and storms for the middle of August. And that's what's on the table for the next week, because we've got multiple days of severe storms further north, and we've got multiple extended days with triple-digit heat, widespread heat indices, fire dangers across these regions into the southern plains. Dangerous setup. They're just not going to get any relief across these regions. That the heat just continues to build and expand. The drought gets worse. And further north, it's just the alignment of these storm developments and these mesoscale convective systems going to be screaming across, being big time hail producers, big time wind producers, and some flooding rains where convective banding really starts to take shape. So by the time we get into middle of next week, it's going to be likely setting up shop across portions of the mid-Atlantic regions, getting into the Northeast, and headed up with more heavy rain back into Vermont, New Hampshire, and likely back into Maine again, where they just got pummeled the other day. We're going to get more heavy rain going in by the middle of next week. So guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video. Definitely hit the subscribe button and catch me in the next update, where I protect you before and after the storm.